right, I've got a treat for all of you. Ready for this? You've been asking for it, and finally, we're going to do this. I have got a Microsoft to partner to customer story, okay? All right, first of its kind in the world. So I've dragged Chris Huntingford, who works at the Microsoft partner A&S Group. And today we're going to be talking to our customers from a law firm in the UK called Burges Salmon. So Chris, please introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Amazing, thank you, Donna. So hey folks, I'm Chris Huntingford. I work at a company called A&S Group, like you just said. And we've been working with Burges Salmon to implement a Copilot enablement program, which focuses primarily on not just the technology, but welding the tech, the people, and the process together to form a bit of a different culture. So it's been really exciting, actually. So yeah, thank you.
So Chris brought me this fascinating customer story, and I said, you know what, we need to get you on stage at Ignite and to tell the story. Eddie, do you want to introduce yourself, who you are and what you do?
Hi Donna, hi Chris. I'm Eddie Twemlow, I'm the head of technology at Burges Salmon, and we're an independent UK law firm.
That is fantastic. I've heard you're actually a tech firm who does law,
Yeah.
Right.
not a law firm who does tech. But that's the word on the street.
Yeah.
So Alice, please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi Donna, hi Chris, I'm Alice. I'm a Senior Legal Innovation Specialist within the innovation team at Burges Salmon. Fun fact, I was a corporate lawyer before moving over to the world of technology and innovation. But in my current role for the past 12 months or so, I've been heavily involved in the firm's rollout of Copilot for 365.
I love that. Okay, so I'm very excited to be talking to these folks today. I would love to talk to you a little bit about, tell us about Burges Salmon, the company itself, Eddie.
Right, so we provide specialist advice in complex legal matters with expertise across a range of sectors. And we're recognized for our innovative approach towards legal service delivery.
Right? I love that. That makes me happy. So tell us about Gen AI.
Yeah.
Why is Gen AI actually, I know you had this question for all legal firms.
I did.
Why is Gen AI so important for lawyers?
Yeah, so it's an opportunity, a threat, it's really important. Let's look at what lawyers do. They take information that's complex, unconnected, and with their experience and expertise, they convert that into valuable legal advice. And if you think about generative AI, well, we know that that can take large sets of data, unstructured, complex, and at scale, summarize that into useful information. So you can see the connection, but we think it's a great opportunity to enhance our service to our clients, more efficient, and we also think it's a good opportunity to make life for our people a lot easier.
That's very, very true.
Yeah, but you asked how it was going, and tech is possibly the easy bit here.
Yeah.
The legal sector is really quite conservative by nature. Law firms are really quite highly regulated, time is in short supply, traditional partnership models, so quite collaborative, and that can affect the speed of change. But I think there's a recognition across the sector now that as we begin to take the opportunities that this technology presents, that model is going to evolve over time.
I love that. So right now, lawyers are, what do you think lawyers are like right now?
Right, okay, lawyers, well, they're busy. Lawyers don't have a lot of time, and that they don't really have a lot of time to lend to experimentation, which is a challenge. But they have a depth of knowledge and expertise, and they have to be really confident that the information that they're being presented with is accurate and reliable, because the advice that they present to clients has to be really solid, and they have to be able to defend and explain that. If you contrast that with generative AI, well, it's not always clear what the benefit is going to be, what the payback's going to be. It's not deterministic, so a lawyer has to be really consistent with their advice to clients, whereas you can ask the same question to an LLM twice and get a different answer. And hallucinations, well, they're a challenge, aren't they? They're a problem for lawyers. They don't like that. So our challenge really is to bring those two contrasting worlds together. And what we try to do is create an environment where it's okay to not have the answer. So lawyers will feel comfortable to be curious and explore new ways of working. And Alice has been doing a lot of work on that recently.
Actually, Alice, if you could maybe talk to us a little bit more about your initial approach to the implementation of Copilot, like what did you do to start it off?
Yeah, sure. So we started our Copilot journey by taking a relatively traditional tech-focused approach to rollout. So we provided access to the tool together with generic training to a small core team of people, and then to about 70 to 80 AI champions. And the remit for them really was to go away, be curious, be creative, experiment, find use cases, but importantly, feed back to us in the AI project team. But what we found in those early days was that engagement and adoption wasn't at the level that we had initially hoped for. So some of the feedback was that people weren't sure on the relevancy of the technology to their role. They weren't quite clear on the practical application in the day-to-day setting. And as Eddie mentioned, occasional imprecise outputs in a world that does require accuracy and precision can be tricky to navigate. So as a project team, we took that feedback on board and we had a bit of a rethink about how we can make this technology land and how we can make it a bit more of a habit for our people.
Okay, now I see why you were so intrigued by this rollout.
It's honestly amazing.
Chris has been working with these folks for a while now, and he said, Donna, you have to hear the story. You have to hear the story. So you tried the tech-first rollout method. That did not work because this is not like rolling out Windows Insider build, pro tip for Donna. After learning for the feedback, how did the approach to the rollout change?
So as a project team, we decided to move away from that generic approach to rollout, and we instead focused on being more human-centered. And what I mean by that really is we decided to connect more closely with our people. So what we do now is we carry out one-to-one user interviews where we leverage user research style methodologies and design thinking principles to really understand and empathize with our individuals. So when we go in and we conduct those interviews, we're not just asking about the technology, but we're asking them, you know, what does your typical day look like? What motivates you? What are your goals? But importantly, what are your challenges? And by having those conversations, we're able to unearth the working context in which this technology may or sometimes may not be used. And as Eddie said, it's really important because lawyers really don't have the luxury of time to go away and experiment with technology. So by having those conversations, we're able to collaborate and find those high impact use cases together. But really, it's been about bridging the gap between technology and people and connecting the two together.
Amazing. That's incredible. And I love the fact that you put the human first. And I think that's why you've been so successful on the rollout. And, you know, when you say connecting people with the tech, what does that practically look like? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, there's an awful lot you learn when you conduct one-to-one interviews. Yeah. But some of the things that we've done with the insights from those interviews is some people raise what I call Copilot wishes, which are use case ideas. And we take those wishes and we feed them into our small but mighty testing team, who go away and experiment with the art of the possible. They design prompts, test prompts, importantly validate those prompts, and where we find pockets of value and success in those prompts, we add them to Burges Salmon's prompt library. But we also take those insights from the interviews and we translate them into AI-driven scenarios. So at Burges Salmon, we've curated our own scenario maps, so day-in-the-life scenario maps for certain roles within certain departments across the firm. And we use them in our training materials to really showcase how the technology can be used in a world that's familiar with those individuals.
Okay.
But the learning and the engagement, sorry, Donna.
Yeah.
No, your prompt library is off the charts. I'm just giving you a compliment. My gosh, the detail on these prompts. I have prompt library envy right now because our prompt library, not this nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's very well managed as well.
Yeah.
We have some really, really great prompt engineering skills at Burges Salmon. It's really impressive. But I was just going to say, we take the learning and the engagement, but we continue with it. It's an ongoing journey. So we also have a user community on Viva Engage. We circulate roundup emails with top tips. And we also have twice weekly drop-in sessions hosted by our brilliant trainer, Wayne, for people to upskill. And we do all of that to encourage habitual use of the technology and to encourage people to embrace this new way of working.
Okay, so, all right, this has been spectacular. We want to hear so much about this. And Burges Salmon is here with us this week. And if you would like to connect with them, they're highly, highly reachable.
Absolutely.
And if you'd like to know more about Copilot adoption, more scenarios like this, come visit us at learn.microsoft.com/Copilot. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.